I'm going to tell you something about that memory you keep going back to. The one you've replayed 100 times. The conversation you've rewritten in your head. The moment you can't seem to leave alone. And it's going to completely change the way you understand what your mind is actually doing to you. And before you think this is just another video telling you to let go, or practice mindfulness, or focus on the present, understand that what I'm about to explain goes deeper than any of that surface-level advice ever reaches. Because the real reason you can't stop revisiting painful memories has nothing to do with weakness, nothing to do with being stuck, and nothing to do with you being broken in some way. There is a specific psychological mechanism running inside you right now, one that was activated the moment something happened that your mind couldn't fully process. And until you understand exactly what that mechanism is and why it keeps pulling you back, you will spend years, maybe decades, fighting your own brain, exhausted, confused, wondering why you can't just move on like everyone else seems to. You know what the most quietly painful thing a person can experience is? It's not the original hurt, it's the return to it. It's 2 a.m. and you're back in that argument from 3 years ago. You're back in that room where someone said something that changed everything. You're back at that moment where you made the wrong choice, or someone else did, and you are still there, turning it over, examining it, looking for something. And the worst part? You already know how it ends. You've always known how it ends. Nothing about the memory changes. The words stay the same. The outcome stays the same. And yet you go back. People around you notice. They say things like, "You need to stop living in the past. Why do you keep punishing yourself? Just forgive and move on." And you nod, because what else do you say? Because you don't actually know why you go back. You just know you do, and you can't seem to stop. Here's what I discovered, and what psychology has understood for a long time, but almost never explains in a way that actually reaches people. You are not going back to that memory because you're weak. You are going back because your brain believes on a deep biological level that the problem isn't finished yet. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your mind when you ruminate. Your brain has one fundamental job: not to make you happy, not to make you productive, not to help you build a good life. It's one job. The job it has been doing since the beginning of human existence is to keep you alive by solving threats. When something dangerous or painful happens and your brain successfully processes it, meaning it understands what happened, extracts the lesson, and reaches some kind of resolution, it files that experience away. Done. Closed. You remember it, but it doesn't pull at you. It doesn't demand your attention at 2 a.m. But when something happens that your brain cannot fully process, because it was too sudden, too confusing, too emotionally overwhelming, or because it involved a meaning your mind couldn't make sense of at the time, your brain does not file it away. It keeps it open. It flags it as unresolved. And then it does the only thing it knows how to do with unresolved threats. It sends you back over and over again. Because from your brain's perspective, if you just look at it one more time, maybe this time you'll find the resolution. Maybe this time you'll figure out what you missed. Maybe this time the thing that couldn't be processed finally will be. This is not weakness. This is your survival system working exactly as designed. The problem is that it was designed for a world where most threats were physical and solvable. It was not designed for the specific kind of pain that humans inflict on each other. The betrayal that makes no logical sense. The loss that has no lesson. The moment someone revealed they were not who you believed them to be. These are threats with no clean resolution, and a brain that needs resolution will search for it indefinitely. But there are deeper layers to this, because not all memories get stuck. Only specific ones do, and understanding which ones get stuck tells you everything about what your mind is actually looking for. The first layer is unfinished meaning. Your brain is not just a survival machine. It's a meaning-making machine. When something painful happens and you understand why, even if it hurts, your mind can process it. But when something happens that has no clear meaning, when someone leaves with no real explanation, when you're treated in a way that contradicts everything you believed, your mind gets locked in a loop. It keeps returning because it needs an answer to the question, what does this mean about me? about them, about the world. And when no satisfying answer exists, the loop continues. The second layer is identity rupture. Some memories don't just hurt, they break something in how you see yourself. Maybe you trusted someone completely and were proven catastrophically wrong. Now your judgment feels unreliable. Maybe you failed at something that defined you. Now that identity feels hollow. When a memory threatens your sense of who you are, your brain treats it as critical. It returns to it not to punish you, but to repair you. The third layer is the unexpressed response. Something happened, and in that moment, you couldn't respond the way some part of you needed to. Maybe you went silent. Maybe you stayed. Maybe you were too shocked to react. And now your mind keeps returning because somewhere inside you, there is a response that never got expressed. Two people, years together, shared plans, shared routines, a future spoken about as if it were guaranteed. One of them trusted completely. Then something shifts, a detail, a message, a pattern that doesn't add up. The truth surfaces. Emotional involvement with someone else. Not fully physical, but enough to fracture something fundamental. When confronted, the response is detached. It didn't mean anything. You're overreacting. I was just confused. No urgency, no clarity, no coherence. The relationship ends, not with explosion, but with erosion. And years later, at 2 a.m., the memory still has weight. Not just the betrayal, the collapse of reality. Were those years authentic? Were the words true? Then the fracture in identity. I thought I understood people. I thought I was safe. And the moment that froze. Maybe they stayed calm. Maybe they didn't say everything, so the mind replays it. This time, the voice is steadier. This time, the exit is cleaner. You think you're revisiting them. You're actually revisiting the version of yourself that fractured that day. Here's where most people make the mistake that keeps them stuck for years. They try to think their way out of it, but analysis is not processing. It is just another loop. Others try suppression, distraction, avoidance, but unresolved memories do not disappear. They wait. The memory isn't the problem. The unfinished process underneath it is the problem. So what actually works? Stop trying to reach a conclusion. Get curious about what your mind is still looking for. What need is unmet? What meaning is missing? What response is unexpressed? And understand this, some memories will never make complete sense. The path through them is not resolution. It is acceptance of irresolution. You are not going back to punish yourself. You are going back because some part of you believed that if you looked carefully enough, long enough, deeply enough, you would finally find the thing that made it okay. And when you realize that the search itself was protection, something changes. The grip loosens, not because the memory disappears, but because you finally understand what it was trying to do. The memories you can't leave alone are not evidence of weakness. They are evidence of a mind that refuses to abandon you. If this reached something in you, something you've been carrying quietly for longer than you've admitted, take a moment with that. Understanding why you keep going back is the beginning. If you want to go deeper into the psychology of unresolved experiences and how they shape who we become, subscribe, because the next video goes somewhere most people are even less willing to look.